Boys and girls, the ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, it's Jesse with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things right through a common sense lens. And man, oh man, I have been saying it for a very long time that the Disney acquisition of Star Wars was probably one of the biggest mistakes in entertainment history out there. There have been other people out there that said this is the largest mistake and will go down in history as the biggest brand damage that has ever been done out there, because Disney decided to turn Star Wars into a girls brand. And while we saw how well that worked out for them, we now know that the Disney sequel trilogy actually lost money because of the insane almost $600 million budget that some of those movies ended up having. So despite making $1 billion across the globe, you still ended up losing money. So they were literally behind the 8 ball right from the get-go. Well, things didn't go over very well after that either, because as we all are very well aware, we know that Solo lost money, and the Disney Plus Star Wars television shows have been more or less in the ratings gutter. Outside of Mandalorian in season 1 and season 2, things have only continued to decline as the franchise goes on under the control of Disney. And I have said this a million times. Disney's Bob Iger has admitted that the company is broke and they have to drastically reduce the amount of television shows and movies that they put out every single year. And for some reason, if you did not believe Bob Iger, well, ladies and gentlemen, one of, if not arguably the loveliest lady from the Farscape sci-fi series that so many fans absolutely adored, Claudia Black, a Star Wars star, I would call her, because I mean, honestly, at this point, I'll call anybody that works for Disney Star Wars a star, because by golly gee, George, you deserve it. And a lot of you are way bigger fans than anybody in charge of things, because Claudia Black will not be returning for Ahsoka season 2. Disney could not pay me what I needed. And in case you needed a friendly reminder, it wasn't very long ago out there that Disney Marvel's own Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner, you know, the guy that got ran over by a snowplow last year but has a very successful career over there at Paramount. Yeah, he said, nah. They want to be back. The money that they tried to offer me was an absolute joke, and there was no way in hell I was going to do it. And guess what, boys and girls? Claudia Black is saying the exact same thing, once again confirming that Disney Star Wars is nothing more than a $30 billion black hole money pit that they have wasted and completely and totally destroyed. And the best part is, even Claudia knows it, because, hey, guess what? They ain't got the money, and they're not going to pay her. And so they're going to have to find somebody new, and I'm sure they will. I'm sure that's exactly what they will do going forward. But it once again just adds another scrap of evidence that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that Disney Star Wars, and honestly Disney overall as a whole, is broke, boys and girls. So we're going to share this article from Fandom Pulse, getting all of the juicy details, let you know exactly what Claudia said in detail. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing. We just crossed 2,400. We're inching our way closer and closer to 25, even with all the crazy algorithm stuff that's going on right now. And I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, what I could not do without every single one of you as well is this is my full-time job by the grace of God. We've been doing this for about 3 years since I lost my primary income. And fortunately enough, we're still here. But the last couple of months have been really hard over here on YouTube. So if you want to consider seeing Common Nerd 7 days a week and doing this full-time, your memberships are going to go a very long way for that. I cannot do this without at least 100 members in order to collectively keep us moving forward. So if you've got a little spare pocket change, please consider becoming a member. It's $5 a month, $5 or less a month, getting us closer and closer to those 100 members we need to keep the lights on around here indefinitely. So if you like what Common Nerd does, if you like seeing him live stream 6 days a week, if you like seeing his content 7 days a week, please become a member, because if this doesn't happen by the end of the month, we're going to have to find something else to do. And that's just, it's not something I want to do. I love doing this, but it's just a matter of fact, boys and girls, and especially with all the weird stuff YouTube's been doing on behind the scenes. So please consider becoming a member if you've got fair $5 that you can spare Common Nerd a month and you actually appreciate our content. Also, let us know what you think about all this in the comments section down below. Does it surprise you at all that Claudia Black is once again confirming to Star Wars fans globally that the Disney Bob Iger Corporation is broke as a joke? Would you enjoy her role as, of course, course, one of the Night Sisters out there. Did you think she did a good job? Did you enjoy the Night Sisters in the Ahsoka series, despite it being nothing more than Dave Filoni's own personal fan fiction off of Tumblr? Let us know all of it in the comments section down below. If you support the channel, please check out those memberships, boys and girls. All right, from John F. Trent over at Fandom Pulse. Claudia Black reveals she was picked up to return for season 2 of Ahsoka, but she declined the offer. So it's not like they didn't want her back. They wanted her back. They just couldn't afford her. Revealing that Lucasfilm and Disney could not pay me what I needed. In an interview with Bleeding Cool, Black, who played the Night Sister witch Clotho in Ahsoka, and also obviously a big deal out there in Farscape, well, I'm going to be transparent. They picked up season 2, picked me up with it, and then Disney, which is structuring things differently these days, could not pay me what I needed to be paid as a single mother to keep all my responsibilities going at home in Los Angeles because they were filming in London. Now, there's 2 points that we have to go on with this one. Structuring things differently these days. Could not pay me what I needed, right? Why are they having to restructure things? Why are they not paying what they obviously paid in season 1? Because Star Wars is broke, and what they produce does not drive revenue. If it did, explain to me all of the Disney Star Wars sequel characters and all of the rest of the Disney Star Wars characters that end up at the Ollie's bargain bin discount. Explain to me the drastic reduction in size of the Star Wars section in Walmart toy aisles. I was a 90s kid. I remember Star Wars toys being advertised in the Toys R Us circular every Christmas. Yeah. You think that's happening anymore? No, not at all. And then they're filming in London. Well, why are they filming in London now instead of Los Angeles? Well, we know it's them big fat tax breaks that the United Kingdom keeps giving everybody. It's also the same reason why in a couple of years we'll know exactly how much money Disney Lucasfilm Star Wars wasted on Ahsoka Season 2. And I guarantee you, boys and girls, it'll be up there in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Because this is Dave Filoni's jerk-off material. Ahsoka, he's got an Ahsoka body pillow. Hell, he probably paid one of the Japanese companies to make him a life doll of Ahsoka. You know, and I'm sure he's cuddling it while his wife pegs him, right? So yeah, they're going to spend an outrageous amount of money on this movie despite not wanting to pay Claudia Black what she needed. Why? Because they've already spent billions of dollars on miserably failed TV shows over there at Disney Plus for Star Wars that failed to chart on the Nielsen ratings or continue to watch their ratings go down and down and down and down and down as the season progresses. Weird. I thought if your show was good, the ratings were supposed to go up. Huh. It's almost like Disney Star Wars is a bunch of garbage and trash. Weird. So Claudia says, it was not something that I can make happen. Therefore, I had to bow out for season 2. It was very sad for me. I sent an email to Dave Filoni thanking him and said, what a ride. Dave Filoni. Yes. One of the many villains inside of Disney Lucasfilm. He's a hack. And for all of you that ever thought otherwise, did you watch Ahsoka? Did you watch Obi-Wan Kenobi? Did you watch The Acolyte? Yeah. He's a hack. He's an absolute hack. Everyone like me who grew up in the 70s and 80s has been into the Star Wars universe, and it's a very playful environment to work in. I'm grateful that I've got to be in that universe. Lovely people, lovely directors, interesting to work on. The volume. They call it show business for a reason. It's like 90% business and 10% show. They could not, sadly, support a single mom, and I'm very sad about that. But I also understand market forces being what they are, and the very delicate time in the business to even be able to afford to make anything at all. We all had to do our sums and move on. Understandable. And I appreciate her being just such a class act, right? She's not out there trying to trash Disney. She's trying out there to bash Dave Filoni or Star Wars like we like to do, very justifiably so on a regular basis. She's not. She's like, hey, money, I just couldn't make the money work. I live in Los Angeles. I got 2 kids. I guess her sons are 18 and 20 years old, so they're probably going to college right now, probably still staying at home with mom, right? Can't afford that. Understandable. I get that because you're going to be gone all the time. You're going to be in London. You have to essentially pay for 2 places to live, right? So why would you do it? Why would you even bother? Why would you? No one would. And this, once again, especially if she can just stay in Los Angeles and still be just fine with whatever work she's getting out there, why would you bother? Why would you travel all the way to London, go through all that hours and makeup and everything else if they're not going to pay you enough money? You're just not. And once again, this just confirms what we've been trying to tell everybody for a long time. Me and a million other voices, million other actual Star Wars fans out there have been trying to tell you. Disney Star Wars is dead. They've done this, and it only gets worse. And now the money's just finally catching up to them. Because just like the old saying goes, eventually they run out of other people's money. And the Marxists inside of Lucasfilm ran out of everybody else's money a long time ago. Specifically Bob Iger's. On note, there we go. Black is not the only actor to reveal Disney is no longer paying what it used to pay. Hawkeye actor Jeremy Renner revealed he turned down a second season of the Disney Plus show after Marvel only offered him half the pay he was given for the first season. Wow, another show that it was a disastrous dumpster fire for the Disney Bob Iger Corporation. Why? Well, I don't know. It's because they took the Marvel's beloved character of Hawkeye and tried to replace him with a young female that was better and faster than everything. And she was going to show Hawkeye a thing or two. And that's exactly what happened. So I wonder why they could only offer you half the pay in order to return to a second season. They lost over half their audience from episode 1 to the last one. And they've lost even more of that since Endgame. So yeah, they asked me to do a season 2 and they offered half the money. And I'm like, wow, it's going to take me twice the amount of work for half the amount of money. Obviously referencing a lot of his very tragic snowmobile accident that happened that year. And 8 months of my time essentially. And I have to do it for like half. I'm like, sorry. Why? Because you think I'm only half the Jeremy because I got ran over? Maybe that's why you want to pay half me for what I made on the first season. He was all saying that in a very jokingly manner if you actually watch the video. But we know that's not it. It's because Disney's half the company it used to be. Marvel's half the profitability it's got half the fans it used to be. Star Wars maybe has half the fans they used to, right? And probably much less than that based on the numbers alone. And he goes on, says the same thing she did, right? Love the character, love the universe, but hey, Disney's broke. They ain't got the money to pay me. Marvel's broke. Star Wars is broke. Why? Why? Why can't they afford Claudia Black, right? It's not like she's some big, well-named, known actress out there. She's not been in some like billion-dollar franchise over the last few years. You know, as far as a nerd's concerned, I know her more from Farscape than I do anything else. And I loved her in Farscape. I think she's an excellent actress. Right? I know I've occasionally seen her in a couple of other things where I go, oh, look, there's the Farscape girl. Right? But that's all I know her as. So it's not like she's some big ticket, high budget item out there in Hollywood. But Jeremy Renner was Hawkeye, right? One of the Avengers during a time back when Marvel was actually profitable. And they offered him half. The guy whose name's on the bill of the show. They offered half of what he did the first season. Why? Why? Because they decided to go down the path of all of the rest of Hollywood. They decided to take what was working with Star Wars, a boys brand, Marvel, a boys brand, and they decided to turn it into nothing more than girl boss narrative garbage. And how's that worked out? Disney hasn't had, outside of a Sean Levy Deadpool and Wolverine movie, right? That wasn't a Kevin Feige production. They haven't had anything make $1 billion. All of 2025 has been an overall loss for Marvel. They're upside down over $1 billion in the box office just on Marvel. Not everything else, just on Marvel. Star Wars, the shows. How many times do we have to document those ratings? How many times do we have to document the disastrous dumpster fire of those ratings? They just continue going downhill over and over and over again. So yeah, they're broke. Disney, Star Wars is broke. Star Wars is a dead brand, and they've done it to themselves. They decided to prioritize their own personal agenda and their politics over giving us good Star Wars stories. And now, fans aren't going to get to see Claudia Black come back and return to her role as a Night Sister. Why? Because of the choices they've made. And guess what? It's exactly what they deserve. This is just more evidence of showing you that Disney Star Wars has turned what was the arguably most profitable IP on the planet into nothing more than a $30 billion disastrous dumpster fire. Who can't even afford Claudia Black to come back as a Night Sister. Ladies and gentlemen, they dance with the devil in the pale moonlight, and you, the fans, the people with all the power, have decided they are not worth your time or your money. And guess what? They're so broke, they can't even pay for a 90s sci-fi television star. If that doesn't extremely boil down and sanctify and just concentrate and show you everything about the current status of Disney Star Wars, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what to tell you. Disney Star Wars is broke. Kathleen Kennedy, Dave Filoni, and Bob Iger did it to themselves. And guess what? It's exactly what they deserve. If you've made it this far, thanks for watching, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't already, make sure you smash that like and subscribe or follow button depending on what platform you're on. And of course, a big shout out to all of our subscribers and members. You are the grease between our gears, keeping this machine running. And I could not do this without every single one of you.